going on, everyone? My name is Jamon McKinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. On today's show, I am joined by a Washington football team fan. His name is Ed Oliver. By the way, guys, I appreciate all you that watch my Washington football team content. Those are actually usually the videos that skyrocket as far as views go. Every time I talk about Chase Young, Dwayne Haskins, and the Washington football team, those videos and those episodes tend to do very well on my algorithm. So I figured, why not bring in a fellow fan of the team to discuss, the overall team and the outlook for the Washington football team going forward. So I'm joined by Ed Oliver. Once again, Ed Oliver is a YouTuber himself. You can find him on YouTube. Just type in Ed Oliver, Washington football. You will find Ed Oliver on YouTube. I will put that link in the description as well. You can also follow him on Twitter. His Twitter is at EDTOOOFLATT. His Instagram is EDDYDELNEGRO. On today's show, we're going to talk about Dwayne Haskins, Chase Young, Ron Rivera, how this offense is going to look this year, how this defense is going to look this year, and we also will discuss who is going to win the NFC East during the 2020 NFL season. So without further ado, I present to you guys a very good show with Ed Oliver, a fan of the Washington football team. Also, you can find the Juice Alert on YouTube as well as podcasting platforms. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and leave me a good rating and review if you're feeling kind. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, we are officially live, and we're joined by a lifelong Washington football fan. His name is Ed Oliver. You guys can check him out on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel where he just talks about the Washington football team and basically all DC sports. He talks about the Wizards. He's a Wizards fan as well. So, Ed, thanks for coming on the show, man. How you doing?
Anytime, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, man. It's great, man. We've been trying to get this going for a little while, so it's great to be on, man. Hell, it's crazy with a football team, man. Hell to the football team.
Gotcha. So tell people a little about your channel and we'll get started.
So make sure you guys check it out. Ed Oliver. If you type in a search, Ed Oliver, it used to be the team name from before, but you can find me on YouTube. Do Redskins? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that word.
Now you're good, man. We'll make some mistakes throughout this little stream.
I don't know how people are, about the word, but if you type in Ed Oliver Washington football team, you can definitely find me. I'm on YouTube. I do Wizards content on DC Sports. So check me out. I started back in 2018. I've been doing it for 2.5 years now. I've got 7,000 subscribers. So it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's been a fun ride though.
So what made you become a fan of the Washington football team? How long have you been a fan?
Ever since I've been born, man. Burgundy and gold. I bleed burgundy and gold. My dad was he was a Skins fan. He had season tickets, so I went to a lot of games, good amount of games, and been through it all. So I've been a fan for 20-something years. I didn't get to witness the Super Bowl years in the heyday, but I'm still a fan. It's been rough, but I'm still a fan.
Got it. Let's talk about the new name. It's good. This team is now officially called the Washington football team. Now, obviously, some people were hesitant about the name change. Obviously, Snyder was pretty hesitant about the name change as well, but his pocketbooks was kind of being affected. So, what can you say? He was forced to change the name. And I will say this, the history of the team is not really going anywhere. And we've seen teams like the Pelicans, the Rays, and the Titans. They used to be called the Oilers. They've had to change their name in the past as well, obviously for different reasons. I feel like that nowadays, some fans are a little bit salty about the name change. I understand that. And personally, I didn't have a whole lot of problems with the name. I understand that some people did, but that's just really not my space to discuss why the name should be changed and if it should be changed. I'm just going to kind of take a step back about that. But, we're embracing change nowadays due to the Black Lives Matter movement and things of that nature. And, there's going to be a new quote-unquote era for this team based on the name change. Now, I understand that this is kind of a temporary name potentially, but what are your thoughts on, the name change for the team?
It's a lot, man. Like you said, It's not my place either. But I know there's some Native Americans that love the name and embrace the name. There's some Native Americans who have been Washington fans since the 1970s, 80s. Back in the day with Joe Gibbs and all those good times. So it's a lot of mixed reviews. There was a Washington Post article that came out. It was like 9 out of 10 Native Americans weren't offended, but they have kind of gone against that article or whatever. So, but 2020 has been a crazy year. Ever since, like you said, the Black Lives Matter movement and other things have happened this year. Tearing down statues. Aunt Jemima is not in stores anymore. So there's just a lot of things going on. They're going to change. They're talking about changing the Chiefs, other teams, the Cleveland Indians. So, I feel like if you're gonna target Washington, I feel like they should do every single team. I don't want it to just be the Washington team. They should go after other teams as well. But I understand why it's changed. I feel if it's offensive to somebody, then go ahead and change it. I get it. I get why. I understand why. But yeah, I'm still gonna be a fan. And Snyder, he said never in all caps, and never say never. So it happened. So it's crazy, man. I hope they change the name to hopefully Red Wolves or something like that. Hopefully they change it that.
Yeah, I like the Red Wolves name as well. So yeah, we'll transition to the football side of things. I want to talk about this right off the bat. Obviously, a lot of people have mixed emotions about Dwayne Haskins. Personally, I believe in Dwayne Haskins. I did a film analysis on his whole season. I felt that he was a very good quarterback when he was coming out of Ohio State. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback one day once he, kind of reaches his full potential. I believe in Dwayne Haskins. Now, a lot of people have given up on Haskins, even some, Washington football team fans. And I think what people have to realize is the team last year was not very good. You guys were picking number 2 overall for a reason. The team was just not that good. Bad offensive line. I know Terry McLaurin is great, but outside of Terry McLaurin, there wasn't a whole lot of weapons getting open for Dwayne Haskins. He didn't really have a tight end. I know how you feel about Jeremy Sprinkle, okay, and things of that nature. Yeah, and I mean, Dwayne Haskins was put into a situation playing for a coach that did not want him. And it'd be one thing if he were like, I don't know, a 10-year veteran, but he's a rookie quarterback that started 1 year of college football. That is not putting your quarterback in position to succeed. And, I feel like that sort of, when we look at rookie quarterbacks, just take the success as house money, because we've seen guys like Peyton Manning throw 28 interceptions his rookie season. John Elway struggled. Steve Young struggled. Heck, Jared Goff a couple years ago, people thought that he was an absolute bust. And then we saw, once he got the right head coach for him, once the Rams got the right head coach for him, he was playing like an MVP candidate on his way to a Super Bowl. And you mean to tell me Dwayne Haskins isn't as talented as Jared Goff? I beg to differ. So, look, I'm going to let you kind of take the floor about this, Ed. I've defended Dwayne Haskins on this channel a lot. Tell people how you feel about Dwayne Haskins. Do you believe he's the future? And what are you looking for as far as Dwayne Haskins' development this year?
I 100% agree with you, man. I thank you for putting your neck out there and defending my skins, man. I really do. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks have struggled. Rome wasn't built in a day, and people got to understand that, quarterbacks aren't going to develop in 1 year, one season. Even like you said, Alex Smith, Peyton Manning struggled his first year. Troy Aikman was awful his rookie season. Jared Goff was awful his rookie season. There's so many quarterbacks who are good nowadays that struggled their rookie year. And if you just give up on a quarterback after one season, then that's a terrible way to run an organization, in my opinion. So you got to give a quarterback time. This quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, sat down for 3 years. Pat Mahomes sat down for a year behind Alex Smith. So you got to learn and become a good. It takes time. It takes time to become a good quarterback. It's just like the NBA. It takes time to become a good basketball player. You're not going to be, you're not going to be Michael Jordan off of a rookie season. It's just not going to happen. So it takes, to become a good quarterback, it really takes 3 years. Like you look at Trubisky, even though he's been playing bad, you still got to give that man 2 to 3 years to see what he can really do. Now, if they're going out there like Ryan Leaf throwing 1 touchdown, 18 picks, then yeah, I would give up on that guy maybe his rookie year. But Dwayne Haskins, he lost a lot of weight this offseason. 216, he's down to 216 pounds. He's lean. He's faster. He's more mobile. He's going to be more of a dual threat quarterback. So he can run for a first down. I'm not saying he's going to be a running quarterback, but he can definitely move around the pocket a lot better than what he did last year. He's showing that he's in shape. He's locked in. He's been working out with every receiver known the man. Terrell Owens, Ocho Cinco. He's worked out with Antonio Brown. He's worked out with Jerry Jeudy. He's worked out with the guys on his team, Terry McLaurin. So he's been locked in. He's been focused this summer. So I've been happy to see that. I think he's ready to take his game to the next level. I believe in Dwayne Haskins. I think he can be a great quarterback, a Pro Bowl quarterback in the future. I think he has a tool. He has the tools. He has the arm talent. We saw what he did at Ohio State. 50 touchdowns in one season. That doesn't grow on trees. That's hard to do, man. I'm telling you. No other quarterback at Ohio State did that I've seen the last 20, 30 years. So Dwayne Haskins, he has the talent. He just needs a coach that believes in him. And when he gets that, because he had terrible coaching last year, like you said, the guys last year didn't know what they were doing. That's why they got fired. And I think they had some of the coach that got fired didn't even want Dwayne Haskins. Didn't even like Dwayne Haskins. So we got a guy in Ron Rivera that I think believes in Dwayne Haskins, and a coaching staff that believes in him, and I think he'll make that sophomore jump this season. So I'm excited to see him play. I'm really excited to see him play.
Yeah, I kind of agree with most of the things that you said. I kind of tend to agree. You have to kind of evaluate quarterbacks by year number 3. I know you talked about Mr. Trubisky, but that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of out on Trubisky is because it's his 3rd year and he's not really developing properly. I understand that Chicago, is responsible for that as well, but I never was a huge Trubisky fan in the first place. But yeah, I feel like rookie year is kind of the growing year. Sophomore year, I want to see your development. 3rd year, I kind of want to see the final product out there. So I think that Dwayne Haskins this year, he's going to show a lot of improvement. And last year, the first 2 appearances, he was not that good. And he was not put in a position to succeed. I will say that. But even if he was put in a position to succeed, let's just say that he was off for his first 2 appearances. After that, post Jay Gruden, Dwayne Haskins played pretty good football considering what was around him, Of the last 3 games of the season, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, I saw growth and development within that season despite dysfunction. That gives me a lot of hope that Dwayne Haskins can continue that momentum into this year. Do you kind of agree?
Oh, yes, sir. He was rookie of the week against the Eagles. He threw two touchdowns, no picks. He stopped turning over the football. So the first 2 games, he turned over the football. When the new coaching staff came in, he finally started games. He threw 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. His QBR rating skyrocketed from what it was before when he was throwing in the second half. The Giants game before he got injured, I want to say he was like 12 for 13, 12 for 15, 2 touchdowns before he got hurt. Eagles game, he played his butt off, 261 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Had a nice read option for 26 yards. So he showed that he could play at an NFL at a high level and that he was able to win games. He beat the Panthers. He beat the Lions. He had a game-winning drive against the Lions. Where he took the selfie. So he showed a lot of growth, and that's what you want to see. You want to see growth from the quarterback. I think every game he got better, he improved. He showed some type of improvement each game. So that's what I like from Dwayne Haskins.
Yep. And I think that Ron Rivera does believe in Dwayne Haskins. I know that he has not officially given Dwayne Haskins the job, but there's a reason why he did not bring in Cam Newton. He wants to get a good look at Dwayne Haskins and say, hey, let's evaluate Dwayne Haskins. Let's see what we got right here. And Ron Rivera is not the type of coach that's going to hand a job to someone, but I do think that Ron Rivera is going to give Dwayne Haskins every opportunity to win that starting job. Now, obviously, he brought in Kyle Allen as the backup quarterback, presumably, and I understand why. He won games with Kyle Allen last year when Cam Newton was hurt. Kyle Allen looked solid in some games, so I understand why he brought him in, and obviously Alex Smith is making a comeback this year. So it's kind of sort of a real quarterback competition. I won't say officially kind of a quarterback competition because the vibes I'm getting is that it's Dwayne Haskins' job to lose. So what are your thoughts on Kyle Allen and Alex Smith? Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the fact that Alex Smith came back from that, bad injury on his leg. He's a warrior. He's a guy that should be respected. And the last time we saw Alex Smith, he was playing some good football. Now, will he be that same Alex Smith from when he was playing good football due to his injury? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, talk about the overall quarterback room in Washington.
Yeah, it became a little bit more interesting. I'm not gonna say a lot more interesting because Alex Smith is actually playing. There was actually a notification I got this morning, reported by NBC Sports Washington, that said Alex Smith impressed in the 4 training camp workouts that they've had so far. Now he has not. Nobody's done contact workouts yet, but they have done off the field drills and things, and they said that he's moving around pretty well. So it's still. I just got a notification. Jamal Crawford's not playing for your Nets tonight, so I just had to throw that out.
Oh boy!
Throw that out there. But yeah, so there was actually a report this morning that said Alex Smith was they were impressed by how he was working out the past 4 days. So if that is actually true and Alex Smith is able to put up a fight against Dwayne Haskins, it makes it a lot more interesting. Now, Kyle Allen, he knows the playbook. You know, he was with the Panthers last year. He actually played pretty decently at times when Cam Newton first got hurt, and then he was brought back down to earth. And I think they lost like, 5-6 games in a row or something like that, something crazy. So it is interesting competition. I think the majority believe that Dwayne Haskins will come out as the winner because he's worked so hard. If you just watch him on the playbook, he's just more talented than Alex Smith. He's more talented than Kyle Allen. So he really should win the competition. But we all know Alex Smith. Each quarterback has their different advantage. Alex Smith is a veteran. He's been there before. He's a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback. You know, everywhere he's gone, he's won games. Even though he's a check-down game manager quarterback, he won games with the Chiefs. He went to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs with the Niners before Kaepernick took his job. Then he went to, like I said, he went to the Chiefs, lost his job to Pat Mahomes. They still went to the playoffs, but he just lost his job. Where hopefully, if history repeats itself, he loses the job to Haskins, and Haskins can break out like Mahomes did or how like Kaepernick did for about 3 years. Kyle Allen has a little bit of an advantage because he knows the playbook with Scott Turner and the Panthers. But I really believe Haskins should win. The only person who I could see if Alex Smith somehow becomes 100% healthy somewhere out of nowhere is because Alex Smith is a veteran. He knows how to win games. He's a game manager. And when he was healthy, we were winning games. We were 6-3 before he broke his leg, and he knows. I got to tip my head out. He knows how to win games. I'll give him that. It might be a check down. He might throw the ball for 100 yards, but he knows how to win a game. I'll give him that. But I think Haskins should win. I think Haskins should win off the arm talent. He's worked hard. He's in the best shape of his life. Lost about 20 pounds, and I think he's really locked in and learned the playbook. I think the offense is really good for Dwayne Haskins, Scott Turner, the Air Coryell offense. I think it fits the Haskins pretty well.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I believe Dwayne Haskins is the future, but we shall see how he fares this year in sort of a mini quarterback competition. Now, I want to talk about Ron Rivera. I think that the fact that Daniel Snyder got a coach like Ron Rivera was kind of honestly shocking to me. I was very, questionable about Dwayne Haskins' future and this team's future because I didn't know who the coach was going to be. And Ron Rivera, I think he's a pretty darn good coach, and everyone, kind of, gravitates towards the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, and I like those guys as well, but Ron Rivera is a true leader. He's a guy that changes cultures. He's a guy that's going to establish a culture, come in, he's a no-nonsense guy, and I believe that he's the type of leader that can guide a franchise and an organization. That's kind of what I think Washington really needed due to the fact that Daniel Snyder at times doesn't know what he's doing. I think that Ron Rivera's done an excellent job, based on the things I've been hearing this offseason. And listen, Ron Rivera won a lot of games in a very competitive division. Recently, in the last 5 years, we've seen the Falcons get to a Super Bowl. The Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints, they've been very good for a long time. And he got to a Super Bowl with Cam Newton and the Panthers and went 15-1. I do believe that I see some similarities from the foundation of this team to that 15-1 Panthers team. Very good defensive front. I think that Dwayne Haskins is a confident quarterback with a big time arm, very similar to Cam Newton. Now he's not the same type of quarterback as Cam, but I see a little bit of similarities in the arm talent, kind of the way they play, just a tad bit. And I think that Ron Rivera is the type of coach that can turn around this football team. I believe it's a great fit, and I believe that Ron Rivera is going to turn this team into a contender one day. What are your thoughts on Ron Rivera as the head coach?
I love the hire. I do, I know it's different because he is a defensive-minded head coach, and you would think that we would try to bring in an offensive-minded head coach to develop Dwayne Haskins and help the offense out. But, seeing that we had the second pick of the draft and Chase Young was, the guy who was probably going to be number 2 after Joe Burrow, I think it was a great decision. Bringing in Jack Del Rio was a great decision as well by Dan Snyder. I think this hiring of Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio probably were the best decisions he's made in a long time as the owner. And Ron Rivera is going to change the culture. He was 2-time Coach of the Year with the Panthers. He was great. He was a great coach for Cam Newton. He suspended Cam Newton for a half or sat him down and benched him for not wearing a tie to the game. So, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He's a military guy. even though he's a disciplinarian, a lot of players say that he's a player's coach, which is a good mix. And I think he's great for Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins needs to, he has a lot of maturing that he has to do because he's still only 22 years old, so he has a lot of growing up to do. And I think Ron Rivera is a great coach, a great example for these young guys. We're a young team right now. Chase Young, our best players are Chase Young, a rookie, Terry McLaurin, second-year guy, Darius Geis, very young. The only veterans that we have that make big plays are probably Adrian Peterson and Kerrigan and Sheriff. Most of the guys on our team are really young. Montez Sweat, Steve Sims, guys like that are mostly young guys. So I think Ron Rivera is a great coach for this team. Defense wins championships, like the old cliche. And I think we just need to build a culture. The stuff that came out with the article. Ron Rivera is not gonna. He's a no nonsense kind of guy. None of that stuff is gonna happen under his watch. And he's the guy that we need. All this craziness, the controversy with the name change, the terrible article that came out. This is probably the best coach because the guy we had before, if he was the coach right now, we'd probably go 0-16. But with Ron Rivera, I think we can right the ship. It's going to take time. It's going to take about 2 or 3 years for us to really be a legitimate playoff team, a perennial playoff team. So I think Ron Rivera has the right mindset. He's not going after. He didn't go after any big free agents this offseason. He made some low key moves with free agency. So I think he understands that this is going to be a process, and I think he actually does believe in Dwayne Haskins. So I think Ron Rivera is the right guy for the job.
I agree. I think Ron Rivera is going to turn this team around. I want to transition to Chase Young. And by the way, I do think that due to the fact that Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio are being brought in, that's going to bring the best out of guys like Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and that really good defensive line. Because last year, you guys had actually a very talented defensive front. You had some real players on that defense. You just never really got the most out of them due to coaching, in my opinion. But yeah, I want to zero in on Chase Young. I believe Chase Young is the best, pass rusher to come out since Khalil Mack. I believe that he's better than the Bosa brothers. And I know some Washington fans, I know some Washington fans wanted to trade down with that pick, but I kind of disagreed. I said that, look, when you're picking number 2 overall, you need a game-changing type of player. And while trading down wouldn't have been a bad idea, I think Chase Young is the perfect fit for this team. The way Ron Rivera likes to use the defensive line, I think he's a great fit. I think that he's going to really help turn around this defense. And you also have several other first-rounders on that defensive line that I believe are going to elevate because Chase Young is such a great player. I think that he's a special talent. He's going to really change that defense. What are your thoughts on Chase Young?
Oh, I love him. He's a hometown guy. He's from PG County, Maryland, from DC area, so I love it. He's a predator. I think, like you say, he's better than Bosa brothers. And the funny thing is, Jack Del Rio, he coached Khalil Mack, he coached Von Miller, coached Julius Peppers. So, once again, history repeats itself. Chase Young should be definitely as good as Julius Peppers or even better than those guys. So the sky's the limit for Chase Young. Teams wanted to tank for Chase Young. He's a predator. He's going to take over. I got him getting like 9 sacks this year. He definitely should be Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he's going to make Montez Sweat better. I think he's the missing piece on this defensive front. I think they just needed one more thing. And, we always compare our line to the Niners line. The Niners line had a lot of talent, a lot of first-round picks, but they just needed that one more guy. They just needed the Joey Bosa to motivate and push everybody else. And I think Chase Young is going to be able to push the Bama guys and Durant Payne and Jonathan Allen. Montez Sweat's going to get better. We still have Ryan Kerrigan. That's the crazy thing about it. We have 5 defensive linemen that can get to the quarterback, and we still have some other guys off the bench like Tim Settle and we got another pass rusher who's pretty good. I can't remember his name, but you got Ryan Kerrigan, Pro Bowl pass rusher. Montez Sweat had 7 sacks last year. Chase Young, who's projected to be the next big thing like a Julius Peppers. So I can't wait to see this defensive front. It's a lot to talk about. We just got to see it on the field. I'm excited. We got better coaches. Jack Del Rio, who is a defensive guru, and Ron Rivera, who's a defensive-minded head coach. So this defense, it has the potential to be really, really nasty this year. I could definitely see Chase Young strip sacking Danny Fumbles, strip sacking Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, in the NFC East, there's some real quarterbacks. I think Carson Wentz is a really talented quarterback. I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott fan, but he's won a lot of games. He nearly threw for 5,000 yards last year, and Daniel Jones showed some real flashes last year too. So yeah, I think that due to the fact that you got some real defensive front players, that's going to really affect those quarterbacks. I want to ask you this question though: do you think your Washington football team is going to have a top 10 defense this year? I believe it actually has a chance to be a top 10 defense. We talk about the defensive line. I know that a lot of people are not super duper high on the Darby and Fuller signings, but I think that those are decent signings. And listen, when you have a defensive line that is that ferocious and that good, led by the coaching of Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, your secondary does not need to be, this shutdown unit. We look at guys like even Cole Holcomb. Hopefully Reuben Foster pulls through this year and get some playing time. Obviously Hamilton's not a bad player. There's some real other talent on this defense. So I gotta ask you this question, Ed. Be honest. Take your bias out. Do you think this defense can be a top 10 unit? I actually believe so.
I believe so too. Now, last year I made a video saying we're going to be a top 5 defense because we have Ryan Kerrigan, Montez Sweat, and Jerome Payne, John Allen, all the guys like that. And I just got a little too ahead of myself. So this year I don't want to make any projections. I just want to wait and see it on the field because every time we go out there and talk, it looks like we kind of fall flat on our face. Now, the big difference, of course, is you have a guy like Chase Young, which we didn't have last year, and the defensive coordinator was really bad last year. Now, our weakness, like you said, the secondary with Darby, who was he had his bad moments on the Eagles, which I think a lot of Eagles corners struggle in the Philadelphia Eagles offense, as you see. Nambi Asamoah, he was really good with the Raiders. And he went to the Eagles and struggled. Then you see Byron Maxwell, who was with the Seahawks. He went to the Eagles and he struggled. So I haven't seen a good corner from the Eagles probably since Asante Samuel. And that's, 5, 6 years years ago. So I'm trying not to hold that against Darby. But he is a concern, on an island against the NFC East wide receivers, So he is a concern. Fuller is more of a slot corner. He's good. He struggled a little bit with the Chiefs. He played safety and corner, so we'll see how he is. It's been 2 years since he played at an elite level with the Redskins. And then we got a guy named Jimmy Moreland who's really young. He's a good buddy. He's a good corner, has a lot of potential. Pretty small, but has a lot of potential. And we got Fabian Moreau who went to UCLA. He's a pretty good corner. He's just injury prone. A lot of our corners are injury prone, so we're really, really thin at the corner position. That probably is our weakest spot. Landon Collins is really good. He's considered a box safety, so he's not the best in coverage, but coming up and making tackles and rushing the passer, you can blitz him a little bit here and there. So I'm excited to see him do that. And the free safety is Sean Davis. Free safety has been a question mark for this team for a little while. So secondary is probably our weakest position. Linebackers, like you said, Sean Dion Hamilton's pretty good. He just needs more playing time. We got the veteran in Thomas Davis, who's really good. Played for the Panthers a couple years ago. Played for the Chargers. Had 100-something tackles last year. Is a Ron Rivera guy. So I like the linebackers. They're not great, but I like them. I give them about a B+. And then the pass rush is probably A+. So if you even that out, I would say at least top 15. But once again, I don't want to get into that. If we can get to the quarterback, which we should be able to, we can probably just rush 4 and get to the quarterback. With Chase Young, Kerrigan, and all them guys. But I don't want to project just yet because I felt flat on my face last year saying we were going to have a top 5 defense after we drafted Montez Sweat.
Got it. I believe in Montez Sweat a lot. I think he has a lot of potential. I think that he's going to really be helped out due to the fact that Chase Young is on the other side of him too. So yeah, we'll see about that. Now, I want to zero in on the offense just a little bit right here. I think this defense is going to be at least a comparable unit. Worst case scenario, they'll be at least able to get after the quarterback, create some turnovers maybe. The question really lies on the offense. I think that most common fans recognize the talent of the defense. The question is the offense. Now, I believe in Dwayne Haskins. I think that he's going to be a very good quarterback down the road. I think that he's going to have a solid year this year, we look at the running backs. The running back room is full with a lot of depth. Obviously you add Antonio Gibson in the draft from this year. I think that he's a good player. Obviously you have guys, you have Adrian Peterson, even guys like J.D. McKissick, and things of that nature. So this running back group has a lot of depth. I want to get your thoughts on that a little bit once I kind of, finish making my point. And also, you look at the wide receivers. I think Steven Sims has a chance to break out this year. He showed a lot of flashes at the end of the year once he got actual playing time. I think that he can be a legit number 2. Obviously, Terry McLaurin has all the potential in the world. I believe that he's going to be a star. I really like the AGG draft pick. Now, Kelvin Harmon recently tore his ACL, so that does affect the depth of this team a little bit. So that could be a concern. And there's not really a true tight end on this team that I feel great about. I think that Thad Moss, the undrafted kid out of LSU, I think he has some talent. Obviously there's some other guys in that tight end room too. But yeah, talk about this offense. I think that if Dwayne Haskins can make about 3 to 4 really good throws each game, this offense can actually complement this defense and win some games. So what are your thoughts on the offense? Obviously I think that they're going to run the football. Ron Rivera likes to run the football a lot. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the offense?
It's a work in progress. There's a lot of young guys. Like you said, Steve Sims is a second-year guy. He was an undrafted free agent. Terry McLaurin, he's a beast. I think he's going to be an all-pro before it's all said and done. He was incredible last year, and he had to play with 3 different quarterbacks, and he still was getting the job done. So Terry McLaurin has elite potential. He's great. I mean, he's super fast. He made a lot of contested catches last year. I don't think he was stopped by anybody last year. I think the only way he was stopped early was by our offense and our quarterback play. If he stays healthy the whole year, he should easily get 1,000 yards and probably be making the Pro Bowl this season coming up. Steve Sims, I love Steve Sims Jr. I can't wait to see him play. He's super fast. He's a great punt returner, great kick returner. He's a great slot receiver. Real twitchy, can make a lot of guys miss. I can't wait to see him play. He's been working hard this offseason. He has great chemistry with Dwayne Haskins as well. He had some great games against the Eagles and the Giants last year, and had a great game against the Cowboys in that last game. So I'm ready to see him play. AGG is a beast as well. He's a tall guy, makes a lot of contested catches. Not the fastest guy, but he's a great route runner, great hands. Was a gymnastics star. He finished a Rubik's Cube. He bowled a perfect game. I mean, the guy is a great guy on and off the field. He's a smart kid. So I'm excited to see him play. 4th round pick. He was probably the biggest steal of the draft on a lot of draft boards, and a lot of draft experts said that about AGG. So he's going to be a good receiver. Our wide receiver room is a concern as well. It's kind of how our secondary is a concern. I think our wide receiver room is better than our secondary room, but Calvin Harmon tearing his ACL, Cody Latimer with the legal situation. That's 2 guys who might not even be available for the season. So we really only have, 2 legit receivers in Steve Sims and Terry McLaurin. And then AGG is a rookie, so who knows what's going to happen with him. He might be a slow developer, or he might, get it done coming out of the gate, as a rookie. And then other than that, you got Trey Quinn and Cam Sims. So I think we need to sign a receiver. I know the only guy who I think would be available, because Antonio Clown just got suspended 8 games, and I wouldn't bring him in anyway. I would bring in possibly maybe Josh Gordon to help out this offense. I know he has his issues off the field, and I know they're not testing for reefer anymore. So I would take a look at Josh Gordon for a 1-year deal. Antonio Gibson is really good out of Memphis. Running back and wide receiver, dual threat guy, very versatile, quick, speedy, 6'2", breaks a lot of tackles. He's real twitchy too. He is a great punt returner and a kick returner too. So he's a jack of all trades. He's gonna be playing all over the field. He might even play a little bit tight end. He's gonna play all over the field. He's a big guy, strong guy. So I can't wait to see Antonio Gibson play too. Scott Turner loves guys like the comparison is Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and say he's going to be like Christian McCaffrey. Maybe I could see Percy Harvin or Deebo Samuel. A lot of comparisons to that too. So I'm excited to see Antonio Gibson. He's going to add a different element to this team. A lot of explosiveness to this offense that we need really badly. Running back room, a lot of running backs. Geis has not been able to stay healthy. He's only played 5 games out of 32 games in 2 seasons. He's only played 5 games, and then Bryce Love is healthy now. He's been cleared to play. We've been waiting on Bryce Love to play. Adrian Peterson is always healthy. He's just old. I love Adrian Peterson. And we got J.D. McKissick, who's not bad, and Peyton Barber, who's probably not going to make the team. So we got a lot of running backs. We need another receiver. Tight end, like you said. is probably the worst. We probably have the worst tight end room in the league. It's probably 32 out of 32 teams. It's awful. It's really bad in my opinion. Sprinkle can't catch. I want to give him one more year, and that's it. But I like Thad Moss a lot. You know, I'm not going to say he's going to play like his dad or anything like that. But he had 40 catches in his senior year or junior year at LSU and no drops. So he got that from his dad. His dad never dropped passes. So I'll give Thad Moss that. He stepped up in the national championship game, had 2 touchdowns in that game, had a touchdown against Oklahoma in the final 4 games. So he stepped up in big situations. There's another guy named Hale Inches. He's an undrafted free agent out of Alabama. He played last year. He caught a touchdown against the Giants. So we have some low-key guys who have potential, but we have no legitimate threat at tight end. And that's really bad for a young quarterback like Dwayne. He needs a tight end that he can rely on, that when things break down or, you just need somebody to check down to, you can go right to your big target at tight end. And Dwayne Haskins doesn't really have that right now. And outside of Terry McLaurin and Steve Sims and AGG, who's a rookie, doesn't really have many receiver threats as well. So it is going to be tough for Dwayne Haskins coming up this year. I'm not going to make a whole bunch of excuses for the guy and guys who can never stay healthy. So if people actually stay healthy this year, then that can help Dwayne Haskins, and he could probably throw maybe 20 or more touchdowns this season. So the offense is young. We got a lot of guys who have to mature and stay healthy. But if they stay healthy and click, we already lost Calvin Harmon to an ACL injury. So we're hoping that's the last injury we see on the offense, knock on wood. So if guys can stay healthy and grow together and develop, the offense should be really, really good under Scott Turner.
Now, Ed, I want to ask you this question. How many games do you think you guys are going to win? I actually know the answer because I watched your preview video about a month ago when you made it. But yeah, I personally kind of am on the same side as you. I at least see this team doubling their win total, meaning they won 3 games last year. I can see about 6 or 7 wins. I really do think this team can win 6 or 7 games. And that's actually not near the bottom of the league. When you talk about bad teams, we look at the Bengals last year. They won 2 games, When you're a bad team, that's usually in the 2 to 3 to 4 win range. I think Washington actually is not all that bad. I think this team has some real talent. I think that in the NFL, when you win 5 to 6, 7 games, that means you're fairly competitive. And just a couple of things didn't go your way. You're about a year or 2 away, maybe from contention. Maybe you get a couple extra pieces to the team, and you can maybe win some extra games. But yeah, I don't think this team is a playoff team this year. I don't think most realistic fans believe that as well. But yeah, I think this team can win 6 to 7 games. I think that's very realistic. I think this defense can actually be a top 10 unit, like I mentioned earlier. And I made an episode on Chase Young talking about how he'll make the Washington football team's defense elite. And I did a little bit of studying, and I saw that the top 10 defenses as far as points per game were allowed last year. All of those teams except one won 8 games. The only team that did not win 8 games was the Denver Broncos. And they had washed up, not very good Joe Flacco starting a bunch of games for them. So I think this team can actually get to 6 or 7 wins, based on this defense and just running the football and Dwayne Haskins just taking care of the football. And that's one thing I like about Dwayne Haskins. Once, Jay Gruden got fired, he stopped turning the football over. He was efficient. He was accurate. He made some good throws. So I think this team can run the football. They'll be serviceable on offense, and the defense can mainly just overwhelm some teams, I have the schedule in front of me right here. We'll kind of maybe dive into that a little bit. I think that Ron Rivera is going to, turn this team around eventually. I think that he's going to improve this team. So what are your thoughts on this team? How many wins do you think they're going to win? How many wins do you think this team's going to get this year?
Yeah, I got 6, and that's a big improvement from last year. That's doubling the win total, going from 3 to 6. So, we have a young team. Our leaders are young. Dwayne Haskins is young. Tim McLaurin is young. Geis is young. On defense, our best player is Chase Young, probably already, and he's a rookie. So we're relying on a lot of young guys. We don't have a lot of veteran leadership. And I'm not going to say a team that was 3-13 last year is going to make a leap and go, 10-6 or 11-5, 12-4. I think that would be being a homer or being biased, for the team, for the Washington football team. So I understand, and we have a new coach. It's a new coach, new playbook, new offensive coordinator, a lot of new things. and it's going to be no off season, no mini camp, no OTAs or anything like that. So that stunts a little. That does stunt the development of a young quarterback. So yeah, you gotta understand with all these things going on. I think 6-10. And I have us. We're gonna be. We have to go. We got to go. We got to go to Philly. The schedule is tough. The schedule is tough. You got to go to Philly. You got to go. You got to go to San Fran. San Fran was in the Super Bowl last year. You got to go to Dallas, which is not going to be easy to win. And there's some other tough games. We play the Ravens this year. We play the Steelers with Big Ben if Big Ben is healthy. So we didn't get any favors in the schedule this year. So we got to go to Arizona to play Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. So like I said, we just got a young quarterback, and this year is about developing Dwayne Haskins, getting him better. Seeing we're gonna have more cap space with Alex Smith leaving next summer. So this year is kind of a seeing what we have, kind of year. We got a lot of guys on 1-year deals like Darby and Cody Latimer and Sean Davis, free safety, on a 1-year deal. So this year is kind of like a trial year, seeing if we're going to keep Adrian Peterson. It's just a lot of what ifs, this year. We don't have any we're not a team that is set up already for playoff success just yet. We're a team that's still developing. You got a second-year quarterback who only started 9 games last year. Doesn't even have a full season under his belt. So it's a lot. We're relying on a lot of young guys. I think with experience, maybe 2021 we can make the leap. Under Ron Rivera, going in the right direction with Jack Del Rio and Scott Turner. I think next year is the year where, hey, we can say, okay, we made improvements. We won 6 games. Let's try to, go from 6 to 9, 7, 8, 10 wins. Let's do that. So I think 2021 is the year where we make that leap. Not this year, but next year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this team is going to show improvement. And yeah, I think that honestly most, fans would be, sort of somewhat satisfied with the 6 or 7 win season, because that's some improvements from a 3-13 season last year. And obviously you guys got Chase Young out of that. So that's pretty, that should make you happy. But yeah, do you think that 6 or 7 wins would be a successful season?
Oh, definitely, for sure. I mean, going from 3-13 to 6-10, that's doubling the wins. And you still get a pretty good draft pick. You're still going to draft in the top 10 or 15, so you can help out Haskins by getting another offensive lineman or getting another wide receiver. If Jamar Chase from LSU somehow falls to like the 8th or 9th or 10th pick, then wow, you're going to have Terry McLaurin and Jamar Chase, the wide receiver at LSU, next in 2021. So that would be pretty darn good, So 6-10 would be a huge improvement from 3-13. In 6-10, the games that you lose, if you're close in those games and show promise, like say if you lose to the Cowboys by like 3 points, or lose to the Niners by 5, or to the Seahawks. We play the Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Say if you're losing games close and not getting blown out of the water like 40-10 or something like that, then you're showing improvement against the better teams. Now the games that we should win is games like we play the Bengals. We should be winning those games. If we're like 5-11 and we're getting blown out in majority of the games, then that's just like, okay, we didn't get better. So I do want to see the scores of the games too, and how the games play out too. So, but 6-10 would definitely be a big improvement.
Gotcha. Now, I have like 2 final topics to talk about. I just want to get your thoughts on the controversial owner named Daniel Snyder. Now, I don't think Snyder is a great owner. I just don't. I think that most fans can agree about that, But I think that, when we look at this team, I think that Ron Rivera is the right coach to lead this team. I think that Daniel Snyder realized that, hey, what I've been doing is not kind of working. So I need to fire Bruce Allen. I need to get in a new medical staff. I need to bring in a leader like Ron Rivera. So I think that the fans should be calmly optimistic about the team led by Daniel Snyder. What are your thoughts on the moves that he's made recently? And is the team more so on the rise, based on the moves they made?
I think Snyder is actually making some of the best decisions that he ever made. I mean, him getting rid of, the coach before and getting rid of Bruce Allen. I mean, those are huge moves, because there was the hashtag fire Bruce Allen. That was going on for the past 2 to 3 years. He finally cut ties with that guy. And we still haven't hired a GM, so Dan is still bad in my opinion. I can't lie. I would love for him to sell the team too. And I really thought that article that came out was going to force him to sell because of all the rumors that were coming out. Some crazy, crazy rumors that came out before the article was actually posted. But I think Dan has actually made some right decisions. Bringing in Ron Rivera was a smart move because he knows that we need a culture change. Bruce Allen saying that the culture was pretty damn good was a lie. We had the Trent Williams situation, and a lot of things were mishandled by the previous regime with Bruce Allen. The whole Kirk Cousins debacle. I mean, there's so many things that can go on and on about Bruce Allen. Scott McCollum being fired, who was actually a good GM for us. So there's so many things I can say about that, and we know how bad Dan is. It's time for Dan to go. Dan he's compared to the Knicks owner. Him and James Dolan are probably the two worst owners in sports, but the thing about Dan is that he's really passionate about football. He really wants to win. He just wants to win his way, which is bad. And you can say Jerry Jones is a bad owner too. He gets in the way of winning games. They haven't won. The Cowboys haven't been to the NFC Championship in the past 20, 25, 30 years. So you can say Jerry Jones is a bad owner too. So, but yeah, Dan, he just wants to win. I think he's learning his lesson now. He needs to step back and just let the football guys handle football. As long as he steps back, lets Ron Rivera handle his thing and make his decisions and hire a GM like Jack Del Rio do his thing, and our player personnel guy Kyle Smith make the executive decisions on signing players, releasing players, the roster. I think we should be in the right direction.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And also, I think that the last couple of years, your team has actually drafted pretty well. This draft was a success. In my opinion, the 2019 draft was a very good success. Obviously, not even trading up to go get Dwayne Haskins. I believe in the kid. I think he's going to be very good. So, yeah, I think that this team has made some solid strides, and Snyder has slowly gotten better. But, yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell about Daniel Snyder and this team. Now, this is the final topic we'll talk about. Obviously, I think that you kind of recognize that, your Washington football team is kind of rebuilding. I think the Giants are definitely rebuilding. I think both those teams will be near the bottom of the division. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on, Philadelphia and Dallas. Just as an NFC East guy, you cover the team a little bit on your channel, the Washington football team. Personally, I think the Eagles are going to repeat as division winners this year. I think Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson are the best quarterback and coach duo in that division right now. And I think that, last year with all the injuries that they had, I don't think Philadelphia is going to be as injured as they were last year. I don't think that they're going to have as many injuries as they had last year, and they still won the division despite all those crazy injuries. I think Dallas is talented, but they were talented last year, and I don't think the defense is all that great. They lost Byron Jones. They lost, Robert Quinn, and I don't quite see it with Dallas. I know some people have them as a playoff team. Personally, right now, I'm not so sure about that. So I think Philadelphia still wins the division, probably around 10-6 or 11-5. What are your thoughts on, who actually wins the division? Just talk about that. Cowboys or Eagles?
I agree with you. I think the Eagles win, and I hate both teams. I can't stand both teams. I really can't. But I got the Eagles. I think Carson Wentz is just a better quarterback than Dak. Not by much, but like you said, they were talented. The Cowboys were talented last year. I know they had better coaching this year, but I think they're going to choke again. Whenever it becomes November, December, that's where they start to choke and lose games. They might start out hot like they did last year, maybe 3-0 or 3-1, and then once it gets cold, man, they just don't know how to handle the cold. How to handle the cold weather and then under pressure, just like Tony Romo. Tony Romo used to always choke. Dak is now going to choke. He's going to choke. So I just see that happening now. The Eagles, they're flawed as well. Like you said, the Cowboys defense letting Robert Quinn walk, letting Byron Jones walk. Their secondary is still bad. And they really, really wanted Jamal Adams. They ended up not getting Jamal Adams. I think that hurt them as well. So their secondary is pretty weak. They have Clint Dix, who's pretty awful. He can't tackle. And then the Eagles, I think the Eagles are going to win again. It's going to be another ugly year for the NFC East. I think it's going to be like you said, 10-6. They're going to win the division. I think Carson Wentz will find some way to win somehow. But the Eagles, they have their fault. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say that. I'll say I won't be surprised if the Cowboys do win the division because the Eagles are very injury prone. Deshaun Jackson's not reliable. Alshon Jeffrey's not reliable at the wide receiver position, and they got Miles Sanders, who's a really good running back. But I can see because the injury bug is already hitting the Eagles. Their guard Brandon Brooks is already out for the season, so that's a big blow to their offensive line. I know they got Jason Peters, but he's old. He's probably 40 years old, something like that. So, and their secondary is, I know they got Darius Slay, but their secondary still needs some work with the safety position and the other corners on the field. So I could see the Eagles do have they have a better defensive line than, of course, the Cowboys. But I think somehow Carson Wentz just finds a way to win down the stretch.
Yep. Well, Ed, that's pretty much all the topics I got right here. Anything else you want to plug in, before we get out of here? This was fun, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see Haskins. I can't wait to see Chase Young sack Danny fumbles. It's going to be great, man. I'm excited for the season. I really hope we have a season. I know MLB is struggling right now, but they're still playing games. I think we're just going to have it because money rules all, and the owners they want that money, man. So I think they're gonna find a way to play the season. Now there's gonna be some ugly games because say Pat Mahomes gets the virus, they're gonna have to play their backup, or say the Eagles, say Carson Wentz gets the virus, then Jalen Hurts is gonna play. So I'm excited for the season, man. I can't wait. We definitely got to do this again. We're gonna watch this Wizards versus Nets game in the bubble, man. And I think my Wizards are gonna win. Jamal Crawford's not playing, so I got my Wizards winning.
Gotcha. Personally, for me, I'm waiting till next year for my Nets when Kevin Durant, Kyrie come back healthy. Maybe we get Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we're not letting that happen. Heck no. Nah, you gotta give us whatever the Seahawks got whatever the Jets got for Jamal Adams. It's got to be a trade like that.
We'll see, man. Yeah, appreciate you, Ed, for coming on, man. Once again, go check out Ed Oliver, on YouTube. Just type in Washington Football Team Ed Oliver. He comes up right there, and he does some good videos, He's a good content creator. And, yeah, man, Ed, thanks for coming on the show, man. We'll put this out and all that good stuff. So, yeah, thank you.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.